Hello, Carla.
Hi there, Lavender.
Hello to you and to everyone else joining us tonight. Welcome to another Live with the Other Woman magazine. Tonight's topic is live, love, and living single. And
Yeah.
of course, we have you, Carla, the expert. I am single, but I have nothing to offer besides the fact that I enjoy my singleness. You are the relationship doula. And if you would, for the audience, introduce yourself.
My name is Carla, and I'm your relationship doula. I love to help women and men, as I say, bravely birth peace in the pieces of their lives. So often, we just don't know how to connect, or we feel that we've been burnt before. We're not sure if we want to get in a relationship again. We may have our walls up. So I'm really here to help thaw out that situation. Not that you're going to find a relationship with anyone else, but that you're going to find a relationship with yourself. And once you find that relationship with yourself, you are so enamored with yourself. It just shows. And everybody's going to be following you around. And you're like, wait a minute, do I want to share this with anyone or not? So
Uh-huh.
that's what I'm all about. You finding that you again and just blossoming, growing, and reintroducing yourself to the world.
Right. I like that. I like that. How did you come up with doula, relationship doula? I've heard relationship coach, but relationship doula.
And I actually trademarked relationship doula. Years ago, I used to be a case manager, and we would help high risk women with their pregnancy. But I remember when I had my children, I didn't have a doula, but I remember reading about what a doula is. And then when I looked up what doula is, it's actually a Greek word for woman servant. And a doula usually comes alongside a person when they're going through childbirth, because many times we don't know what to expect when you're having a baby. No one sits down and tell you that this is going to happen, or you're going to get stretch marks, or what to do when you get leg cramps. And so the same thing I found with as being a relationship doula. People go to school to learn the ABCs and the one, two, threes, but no one teaches you how to have a relationship, how to have a healthy relationship.
Mm.
And so I come alongside you. You may have done it all wrong before, and you're saying, I'm going to give it another chance. I'm going to try this relationship again with myself, with my parents, with my mother, with my father, with my brother, my sister. But I need someone to help me know how to have a healthy relationship. And
Mhm.
that's what I'm excited about as a relationship doula, help you birth new relationships.
That sounds good. And even at my age, being a single woman, I like what you said earlier when I talked about the idea for the show. You said, well, we're older. Nobody wants to hear two older women talk about relationship. So we have a young 27-year-old that's going to join us tonight, Miss Tabitha Lewis. We are going to bring her on. Hello, Tabitha.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you also, and thank you for joining us. We are going to jump right in because I know this hour is going to go by quickly. Now, Carla, here
Yeah.
is Tabitha, a beautiful
Thank you.
single 27-year-old. I don't know if she's single by choice or not. We're going to find that out. But you as a relationship doula, how would you approach Tabitha in giving her, I guess, advice or guidance as a single woman?
Well, the first thing I would normally do is ask them what are your dreams and goals? And once she lists what those dreams and goals are, we would break it down and make sure they're really her dreams and goals and not those that her parents or others expect for her to do. Because so often some young people, and I've met, their parents have put on an expectation that's not theirs. And so helping that young person peel back the layer to say, is this really your goal? Or is it your daddy's goal, your mama's goal, or society or culture, whatever that is?
Mm-hmm. So Tabitha, tell us, are you single by choice, or are you, how can I phrase that? What's the question, Carla? Single by choice, or do you desire someone in your life to share your life with?
A good question. I am intentionally living a single life. And by that, I mean that I'm really just finding ways to celebrate myself and just take care of some, like my mother said, my goals. Like when the moment she, like Carla said, the moment she said that, goals came to mind, and relationships mean a lot to me. I value my relationships with my family and my friends. As far as if I'm in a place right now where I would like to be in a relationship, the answer is no.
Okay. Now, Tabitha, I have a friend that uses this 80-20 rule. You remember Vernon, Carla, talking about the 80-20 where 80% of people may think one way or be one way, and you have that small percentage, 20. So I would say that you're in that 20% range of intentionally being single, because most women your age, they want to get married. They want the white picket fence and the 2.5 children and the dog. And that is what society has said is the perfect life, family.
Yeah.
So have you ever been in a relationship before, a serious relationship? And what is your reason for being intentionally single?
Yeah, I've been in relationships, and I've enjoyed learning more about myself and learning more about the person I was in a relationship with. And I can honestly say that I've continued to grow with and without them. But I do value those past relationships. Are they the reason that I have committed myself in this season to really be intentionally single? I wouldn't think so. I don't think that anything has happened to me in my past relationships that has given me some sort of bitter or undesirable outlook on relationships. I'm a product of a relationship. I love my grandparents on both sides, have been married many, many years. My parents are married. My favorite aunts and uncles are all married. So I see the beauty of this commitment. But yes, I do realize that I'm part of that 80-20 kind of ratio. And like you said, it's really because society and culture has really infused this desire or this need to be with somebody in order to feel sustained or complete, which is not realistic. And so I think that, yes, a lot of people do want the nice wedding. They do want the picket fence, and all of these things look very nice, but I have been privy to learn how much work relationships take and how much intentionality and sacrifice they take. And it's a beautiful thing, but I understand that comes along with the beautiful wedding and the picket fence. So I'm enjoying just being able to move and do without having to ask anybody, or take into consideration somebody else's situation. Not saying those things are bad, but there is so much beauty within singleness that Carla knows that I've been on a mission to kind of just share with the masses, because I think once people get married, they're like, oh man, I wish I had done this and this. So I'm trying to help people be able to do some things before they take that step to lifelong commitment.
Okay, so Carla, now
Yeah.
this is your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me, what did you pour into her, or is she different from the other two in her thinking?
No, so all of my girls have that thinking. As far as
I'm gonna stop, Carla, right there.
Oh,
Oh my goodness! Everybody's like me, mommy, out of your daughter.
the thinking.
I need. Okay.
Okay, well, break it down. What part am I missing?
I'm not going to put any other siblings' information out there, but you, as the mother, she asked you a question. Is there something unique about your daughter, Tabitha, intentionally being single? Do both of your other daughters, are they both intentionally single?
Okay, you're correct. Okay, no, you're right. Right. I have one daughter who. Okay, so repeat the question, Lavender.
Okay.
I'm gonna have a political moment.
Okay, Tabitha is intentionally single. I mean, she has her mindset is different from the average single woman who wants that society-driven dream of being married with the white picket fence and the 2.5 children. She is set on focusing on her life and what she needs to get done. So I'm asking you, is there something different about Tabitha than your other two, her thinking? What did you pour into Tabitha, or was there anything poured into her differently for her to think the way she does?
Okay, so this is what I mean when I said all of the girls, what I poured into was for them to understand that they don't have to conform to society, that they can create their life to look however it looks. And the reason I said that, I remember years ago, my girls went to 3 different schools because each of them had a different need. And so I recognized early that I wasn't going to just say, well, oh, one shoe fits everyone. So when it comes to Tabitha, she was the middle child, but she'll tell you she didn't have the normal middle child syndrome. But one of the things that was just unique to Tabitha, she knew early on what she wanted in life. And she had people who she saw married and single who were great examples for her. So what I poured into her was just allowing her to make her choices early. My girls were able to make choices by the time they were 13, and I wasn't hovering over them to say, you got to do this, got to do that. It's just like, right from wrong. You know what the consequences are going to be. Here, this is what you're going to do. So giving them that freedom to start making mistakes early on. And Tabitha did a few mistakes, but she lived and survived.
Okay, so Tabitha, share with us, this is the love month, okay? Yeah. This is February, Valentine's Day is coming up. A lot of single women have difficulty with Valentine's Day. They see their friends with the delivered flowers and the box of candy, and they're just excited. And, it's like, okay, well, I don't have anyone. I'm going to try to love myself, even though you can say that. You're probably just like faking it till you're making it, unless you are truly, truly comfortable with your singleness. So what is a typical Valentine's Day like for you?
I would say, I don't even realize it's Valentine's Day, really. I don't use too much of my attention kind of seeing that, but I do see what you're saying. There are a lot of single women it's everywhere, it's at the grocery store, it's there, but just like anything, Halloween, Thanksgiving, the grocery stores and all of that always have a shift to whatever is, like easy to sell. So, I mean, a typical probably is a day at work. I don't
Okay,
really.
Valentine's Day is on a Sunday this year, isn't it?
It's on a Sunday.
Is
Okay,
it?
it's gonna be a nice rest and relaxation day. I would have did that even if
I
it
don't
wasn't
know.
Valentine's Day. But yeah, so that's what it would look like. And I guess my question to those women out there who do see the, you know, candy and all of these different things on social media, you know, is what are some ways that you can celebrate yourself, you know? And I think sometimes women fall guilty to that, of believing that once you're in a relationship, you have somebody that's going to be able to celebrate you and praise you or
Right, right.
compliment you and, you know, or do all of these nice grand gestures.
Mhm.
But in reality, you should be able to, if Valentine's Day is a really, you know, you kind of get a little bit down during that time, that should really be your time when you're honing in on what makes you so amazing and
Mhm.
going out and treating yourself, you know, not believing that you have to be with somebody in order to feel celebrated on a day of love. You can love yourself, love on yourself a little extra that day, you know, and eat all the food and not have to worry about, you know, saving any or eating somebody eating off your plate, you know. You can enjoy that. Yeah.
And you know what? You say love yourself. That sounds good. And me being in my 50s, I know what that is.
Yes.
But for someone in their 20s and 30s, a lot of women don't know how to truly love themselves until they're up in age.
Mhm.
So, Carla, I
Mhm.
want you to answer it also, Tabitha, after Carla does.
Mhm.
How would you explain to someone in 3 minutes, because it could take a lifetime to teach someone how to love themselves? What would you say to viewers or those who will watch later? What does that mean? And how do you love yourself when you truly desire to be with someone else?
Well, I like to break it down, and we talk about the two L's, especially we're talking on Valentine's Day, love and lust. And I need people to understand that many times you aren't in love, you're really in lust. And
Mm,
because if you, and so when you talk about knowing what love is, do you know how to be kind to yourself? Do you know how to be gentle to yourself? Do you know how to be patient with yourself? Do you know how to pat yourself on the back? Do you know how to make sure you lift yourself up? Do you know how to be polite to yourself? Those are the things that when I think about love is what us as women, especially, and it goes both ways for men too, but we're talking because it's the other woman. Because so often it's easy for us to quote unquote love the other person, but we don't show those same kinds of emotions and feelings and
for ourselves.
characteristics to ourselves.
Right.
You know, we beat ourselves up. We're like, oh, my nose is to this. I got this, I'm to this, I'm to that. You know, we just tear ourselves down. And so you learning to love each and every ounce of your being, your
Yeah,
character, what
yeah.
that looks like. If you have a hearty laugh, I knew a person who they had a hearty laugh. It sounded like a horse, and somebody made a comment about it, and all of a sudden she stopped laughing, but she stopped being a part of
Oh,
herself because someone made a comment about it. So be you, and find the people in the community who appreciate you for your own authentic self, what gets you. So love, if they don't have those components for yourself, you won't realize when the other person isn't treating you that way. They may be treating you as a commodity to just bet against. You know, we talk about that hedge fund and all of that. They're betting against you. You
yeah.
want someone who is going to be on your side, team you. Um,
Team you. I like that. Team you. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. You know, my mother always taught me when I was young, and when I was your age, Tabitha, probably younger, I wanted a boyfriend. I
Mhm.
wanted somebody. You know, I was always like the third wheel with friends, or I always had married friends, so I was alone. And I would actually go to the clubs with intentions. I'm coming home with somebody's phone number. It was always the men in plaid pantsuits and dripping hair. I could never attract my kind of man. It was always the one who was probably out there looking like I was. But my mother taught me to love myself, take yourself out to dinner, date yourself, do those things. And it was when I started doing that I realized, you know what? I like my own company. Why would I bring somebody in the mix to complicate all of that? So I started practicing that. And also what you said, Carla, how was I treating myself?
Yeah.
Because if I wasn't comfortable with me, why would I expect someone else to be comfortable with me? And even at my age now, divorced after a 20-year marriage, I went out yesterday and bought myself an anniversary ring. You know what? I've wanted one for years, and it just means something to me because it was something that I wanted, not celebrating anything except myself, celebrating Lavender and who I am and loving life. It's like, why do you have to wait on someone to purchase you a ring? Now, it would have been nice to have someone to buy me a ring, but it's like, what am I going to wait on? I'm 50 something. I'm going to wait for 80 for someone to buy me a ring, so loving yourself. And that's the whole concept of the Other Woman magazine. The Other Woman is that woman inside all of us, who's been silenced or suppressed and just haven't given themselves a chance to live for whatever reason. We have one life, and I say that every show. We have one life. So better learn to love yourself. So Tabitha, for some of the single women watching, have you ever had moments? Now, I'm almost afraid to ask, because if you answer the wrong way, I don't know where I'm going to go after your answer. Have you always felt this way and so secure and comfortable in your singleness? Or have you ever felt, okay, I really do desire somebody, or I wish I had somebody to go out with tonight, or somebody to take me to dinner? Have you ever had thoughts like that?
That's a good question. And Carla, she can correct me if I'm wrong, because she knows everything about me, I'm sure. I think that I've always been somebody who has had some sort of vision, right? Goals. I've always been very goal oriented. And I've been pretty career driven. I can't say that. And so I believe that, yes, I've had moments of, I guess, saying, oh, okay, I guess I can, go ahead and not be in the season of not wanting to be courted or date in that scenario. But I think I've just been very, very focused on the goals that I have that Carla started off with, understanding for singles what those goals are. I have female friends who their top 3 goals in life, one of them is marriage, right? And so their posture right now in their 27, years of life is a little bit different than mine. Is it in the top 3 for me? I can't say that it is. Can that change? Yes, it can change, because life is all about kind of you growing and you kind of saying, oh, I guess I can try this on. Oh, I guess I like this now, but I don't know, Mommy, have I been in a state of, because I guess I've been it's so much of the season of intentionally living single that I can't really remember a time where, I've kind of been down in the dumps and kind of wanting to be.
Well, I think when you were in college, because it was something that people did and the dating thing, but I think you realized early that the gentlemen you were meeting weren't really going to help you move along those goals that you wanted. It was more so added weight, for lack of a better word. And so therefore realizing and having those moments of saying, I want a relationship, but this is an extra weight that I have to carry right now, and I'm not equipped for it.
Right.
And being brave enough to say, yeah, I care about this person, but what they need from me is more than I'm willing to give right now. It's not for me to give this to this person. They're looking for me to do some things that they need to do some work themselves. So that's the only time I remember thinking, well, oh, going through that phase there. But after that, I can't say for that. So would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I believe in college, I think it was like, okay, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I guess now before I go off to grad school. So I guess I should just clink, clink, lock this down. I guess. But yeah, it wasn't, clearly it wasn't what, it was good to learn from, but it wasn't something that would carry out into marriage. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
oh, go ahead, Lavender.
No, you go ahead, Carla. Go ahead.
I was saying one of the conversations that Tabitha and I have is when we look back at the gentleman that she did date, we evaluate, we talk about where they are now, because she's still good friends with them and sees what they're doing and everything like that. And we talk about how her life would be different or what it could have looked like because of that. And in hindsight, she was in this focus at this age and time able to look back and see, wow, they had a lot of growing to do and she had a lot of growing to do. But one of the things that I was intentional about as a parent, sometimes I have some mothers who say, oh, this guy can't date my daughter or they're not welcome here. I didn't do that with my girls, because if it's the one thing I knew is what you push is what's going to attract them. So I'm like, oh no, let me meet you. And I would meet the guys that they're dating. We would have conversations about sex and condoms. And my girls would look at me, but they knew that if they were coming up in our space, we were going to have those kinds of conversations. And so that gave them the freedom to not necessarily be attracted to something that they thought I wouldn't like, because I'm like, no, I don't know how a young man's going to turn out. I'm not going to judge anything. They were welcome in my home, sat down for dinner, but we were fine. And I think that helped them to explore the different kinds of guys that they did date and hang out with.
Mm-hmm. Now, Tabitha, the longer you are single, the more difficult it is to want to share your life. I'm just telling you from experience, okay? The longer you are single, the more, not difficult, I'm going to say challenging. Because when you bring someone else into your life after you have been single for so long, you're pretty like an old person set in your ways. Mm-hmm. So it's some flexibility, it's some breaking down some walls, it's letting people in or person into your space and your creativity, what you've accomplished so far. I don't know about you, but do you find that you can reach those goals easier without a partner?
So one thing I want to say about I want to answer the question you had, but I want to kind of bring some light to this notion that, the longer you're single, as you are continue to get older, yes, I can see how somebody can see that as you becoming more, your space is a little bit more sacred than, let's say, you really didn't understand what your presence meant and how, or your self, how much you enjoy being with yourself. But I like to tag on the interesting thing about my mother today is not the woman she was when my dad met her, right? They got married really young. They got married at 20. And a lot of other men would have divorced my mom. They would have. Thankfully, she got, she was blessed with a very passive husband and easygoing man who was able to evolve with her through time. And so I kind of say, either way, whether you're in a relationship or you're not, that time that elapses, things happen, right? The person, let's say, somebody does get married in their 20s, 22, 23s, or their 20s. 10 years, 15, 20 years down the road, they might be with somebody who wants to be a model. And they're like, I'm used to you being at home. And they're at a crossroad of, do I continue this relationship with this person, or do I, just say, call it quits? And so that age progression happens within marriages, right? The same way it happens within singleness. But the difference is, with the marriage, and you kind of are like, you have somewhat some flexibility, but not really. Some people might feel stuck, right? It's like, I don't know what to do with this new person that you have evolved into, right? And so the beautiful thing about, you, Lavender, and, me, as I continue to grow within our singleness, is we become more aware of the things that we need in that present season, right?
Right.
So it's very likely that who you are today for the next 15, 20 years, there might be a little bit of difference. But for the most part, if somebody says, hey, I want to marry you, they won't go through as much, hopefully, that my dad had to go through with my mom. And so that should be somewhat of like a celebration. It's like, you have different ways of doing things, and you're not stuck in your ways, because
right.
You're willing to adapt. You're willing to be flexible, because without you even thinking about it, you're like, oh, wow, I enjoy having you in my space. Oh, wow, I enjoy, doing this, when before, when I was single, I probably wouldn't have done this. There's room to kind of expand. And so I want to debunk this idea that, the longer, you're single, the harder it is, because you're just, no, it's more so, the more you're more aware of what a prize and presence you have. And
prize. Yes, we are the prize, ladies.
In the same way, and fellas, if you're listening, there are prizes as well. And so realizing that you're a gift, right? Whether that is a gift who has set in her ways for the last however many years that they're going to do things a certain way, it is a gift to be cherished, right? Because who wouldn't enjoy being with somebody who for the last couple years or 10 years has enjoyed being by themselves, right? And so that's why my challenge to single women is, yes, being in a relationship is it can have its pros and it can be very enjoyable, but are you somebody that somebody is going to enjoy being with? Do you enjoy being by yourself? Because that's really reflect with when you get in the relationship and your expectations for somebody else making you happy. I sometimes struggle with some of, my friends hearing them out. I listen because I know they don't want to hear what I have to say. That's what also you realize in your singleness. There's some gems that you might have to sit on, because some people, they're programmed to believe the relationship is it. And so it's, my friend, she was having, some disconnect with somebody she was dating, and he wasn't as affirming with his words and gave her the pick-me-ups that she wanted. And so therefore she cast him to the side, and she said, I can't do this anymore. You don't tell me, you don't pour into me, And so something that I value within my singleness is giving myself pep talks.
Yes.
Being able to sit and not instantly go to somebody and have them pour into me. It's like, let me pour in what I can to myself.
Affirm yourself.
And then let's say I am venting to somebody that I'm dating or something like that. I'm not going to them with the need for them to fill me, right? It's just more, okay, I'm experiencing this. How are you responding to what I'm experiencing? But it's not something that I require you to, because that's the whole people thinking somebody can complete them. And this is something my mom told me this lesson. I'll say, because I know I've been talking for a while, but I remember a long time ago, I was dating some guy in high school, long time. I thought I was in love, high school. And I remember, we were in a grade school, and, we went to a boarding school. So relationships at this boarding school were basically like marriage. Like our mindset was ridiculous back then. And so it was a Christian boarding school. But anywho, I remember that he came to a crossroads where he wanted to leave me and go back to his ex-girlfriend. And I remember he told me, he said, she completes me or something like that. And I was like, completes you? And I remember I went to my mom. I was kind of sad. And I was like, Mommy, he said she completes him. And then she said, honey, you never want to be with somebody who completes you. You need to be with somebody who compliments you.
Yes.
And so that has always stuck with me, this understanding the difference between expecting a relationship to complete you versus to complement you. And so with that, and then the guy, he did end up coming back. He went to the ex, and I took him back. I was a young high school girl. I guess I completed him too. I don't know. That was forever binder and back then. So ladies, see a relationship as a compliment. See a partner as a compliment to you.
Yes.
It's the cherry on top.
Yes.
You are the dessert. And the same way,
yes.
You know, don't get wrapped up in believing that somebody can complete you, because get you some married friends. And I love my married friends. Get you some married friends. Have them talk to you. Like, please let them talk to you about what's going on that's not posted on social media, right? Be there for them. And realize that, you know, it is singleness is a beautiful thing, and marriage is a beautiful thing. Don't think you have to be married to be able to experience a beautiful thing in your life.
And you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that. There is a regular contributing writer for the Other Woman magazine. Her name is Brittany Davis. In one of her articles, she mentioned that she wasn't going to be, or she didn't have to find her other half. She was already a whole person. So you're right. You don't have to have someone to complete you. And I look at it as an accessory to what I already have, to my life. You know, I'm happy. That person will help accessorize my happiness. You know, because you can't depend on somebody else to make you happy. So that's true. And you mentioned about the boyfriend in high school. We often lose ourselves, not just in high school, but grown women. We lose ourselves. In relationships, it's like you get all giddy, and it doesn't matter your age. You can be 50, 60, 70 years old. Love will make you feel like you're back in high school. It will make you feel that giddy. But Carla, as a relationship doula, what advice or suggestions would you have for us women about losing yourself when you meet someone?
And the beautiful thing is that if you have found yourself, you can't lose yourself. And that's we need you to find yourself beforehand. And that's I do challenge that thought process that says, oh, if you don't get married in your 20s or so, it's going to be harder for you to find someone else later. And I say that's a lie that people want you to believe, and have them put the facts down there. I love that we have some of the clients that I work with, they're in their 30s, and they're like now getting ready to find a relationship. And so some of their friends, when they talk with them, they're like, oh yeah, you know, they've been married, they already have their children, but some of them have already been divorced 2 times, 3 times. And so I say to them, you get to create your normal for what it is now. If you chose to wait till you're 30 or 50, whenever that is. I loved when I read the story for Kamala, our VP, when she talked about meeting the gentleman that she married, because to me, a woman who has found herself and knows herself, you are able to see right away and find that man, that partner for you who compliments you. It's just like we get each other, you know. Those little nuances are there because as wine, you have kind of matured. When you were in your 20s, as Tabitha says, I wasn't ready. I've done some other growing and maturing, and yes, I've changed a lot. And yes, my husband could have said, this is not what I'm asking for. A whole different other conversation of the things I've changed. I married him, but you finding out who you are, you can find someone if you choose to in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s. I like how Serena Williams, again, did her life, did her thing, made her money, still playing, have a child. She didn't do it in her 20s. She did. Who's telling you? Who's whispering in your ear? I've had a client that says, oh, well, my grandmother wants me to have a child before she dies. That's what I said earlier. I peel back the layers and find out, what do you want? Are you trying
Right.
to get married because your family says you have to get married and they want grandchildren? I'm like, that's their issue. Your mom and your
Right.
dad, they want a grandchild. Let them buy a dog. Let them adopt a child or something. You don't
Right.
fulfill that when you're not ready for it and you don't want to. And so often, many of us fall into it that we're going to do it because, oh, they want that. Or we think, well, oh, if I don't have a child, then I'm missing out on something. If I don't get married, I'm missing out. I just want to challenge you, if that is your belief system. If it truly is, then let's peel it back and go from there.
And that is so key. And that's just finding yourself. We use that word, finding yourself. Self has always been there,
Yeah.
but it gets lost in roles and responsibilities and thoughts and other people's opinions and all of that. And going back to how you weren't who you were at 20 and how you evolved in your marriage, Tabitha, being a career woman, it's wonderful when you find a partner, not find a partner, when you meet that partner. Girl, you wouldn't have a problem. I can tell. You big like, look, you over there. Come on, let's go. But to find a partner who will support your dreams, your visions, and even work with you to help you to accomplish. It's usually the woman who is behind the man, helping him to reach his dreams. It can complement each other. It can go both ways. So it's not necessarily that you have to finish all these things before you get married, but that right partner will help to complement your whole life, the complete life. You do it together, and that can seem unrealistic, but it can happen. It can happen. There are some really good men out there, and I know single women who have been, and Tabitha, you're not in this 80 percentile, but we have been through some things that will deter us from going forward with a relationship, or those fears, those walls are up. And a lot of single women have gone through some hurt. There's not anyone on this earth, men and women. You're going to be hurt. That's a part of life, just dealing with human beings. But it's as difficult as it may be, that next person that steps up to the plate, you got to give them a chance, give them a chance to find out who they are, because people are going to do what they're going to do. You can't change anyone. Let their character come out. And when we just let life happen, love will come. Go ahead, Carla. You're on the edge of your...
Can I say something real quick? I want to add on to what I know you asked Carla the question about when women find themselves losing themselves in relationships. Something that something that could help a woman not lose herself within a relationship or within marriage is allowing your partner to be that accountability partner. Say, hey, we're getting married. I love you, or please make sure I still go to do my crocheting class, or please make sure that I go cycling, or have your partner help be an accountability partner, or maybe a female friend to just keep you in check about anything that might you feel like in the future, what if I get so lost within doing other things with the marriage, good things, that I forget to do these other things that also I really cherish. So I wanted to connect that idea of just allowing your partner to be a partner, could be a part of that accountability, or a partner could intentionally just say, hey, when I met you, you were doing this. What can I do to help you get back and doing this? I know how happy it made you. I don't. So having that foresight, and that comes with maturity, right? That comes with growth, and so that's what I wanted to say.
Because what I was going to say when you mentioned, Lavender, about character, and so many times when I have conversations with my clients, peeling back those layers, because so often they're so busy because of society and media, you're so busy looking at an outside physique and not looking at the character. My daughter's got me hooked on watching this Foolish show, Ready to Love.
What's the name of the show?
Ready to Love on OWN.
Okay.
And like they said, they had a whole set working this time. And some girl was like, oh no, I need a guy that's going to look good on my arm. And I said, when we've gotten so superficial that what we value is how somebody looks on our arm instead of character,
Yeah.
you do get burned. So you continue to make choices because you want somebody, they want you to be their eye candy, or you want them to be your eye candy. And so we lose out on character. So one of the things that I challenge my clients who say they're now in their 30s looking for a partner, I said, I need you to list down your core values and your character, because you may get sucked in by an image that is hollow. You know, they may have the bicep,
Right.
but they're hollow and shallow, and that's not going to be a long-term relationship. And so I challenge women sometimes, many of them, to open up your eyes and start seeing someone for the character of the essence of the person, because that outer part fades away,
Yes, it
accidents can
does.
happen, but that character will be there through the test of time. And so that's what you wanted to do. But I wanted to also mention for some of you married ladies who may be listening on the show, and you may be feeling that your partner is not doing anything for you for Valentine's. And so you are,
Or any other day.
or any other day. You may be in that stage, but I like how somebody did the comment is like, hey, I could buy my own candy.
Mhm.
Again, understanding that if you've chosen to stay in the relationship and that partner is not going to send you flowers on that day, I still need you to challenge yourself and realize in his other actions, is that partner still showing you love? So just because someone may not get you something on Valentine's Day, it doesn't mean that they don't love you or care about you. With COVID, people have lost their jobs. You may say, oh no, even without COVID, he didn't do anything. Okay, fine. I understand that. But you need to decide what that looks like for you. And why are you still in the marriage then, if that is so important?
Mhm.
If that's a big deal for you. But definitely you can find me at Coach Carla Henry Lewis on Facebook. We can definitely have a conversation. But I need you to understand that, as someone mentioned earlier, you can't hold somebody else responsible for your completeness. So if you're sitting home sulking because, your husband didn't send you flowers to the office or he didn't bring you candy, you need to have a conversation. If you don't know how to have a conversation without yelling, definitely connect up with me, because we definitely can teach you how to start asking for those things that you would like in a relationship. Not that they're going to do it, but giving you the tools to learn how to ask and not shout, scream, and give them the silent treatment. That's not the way to have a healthy relationship at all.
And even Valentine's Day, I don't celebrate Valentine's Day. I didn't celebrate it when I was married. And I don't like the fact that you have to wait until you turn the calendar month and wait for that day and bring
Mhm,
me some
mhm,
stale chocolate and some flowers that you probably got at a gas station. I don't want that.
mhm,
If you can't bring me flowers in September or
mhm,
January,
mhm,
so it's like, I don't want you to be prompted. Nothing
mhm,
wrong with Valentine's Day,
mhm.
celebrate Valentine's Day. But love is shared and shown 24/7. So
Yes.
if you acted a fool in January, please don't bring me flowers in February. I'm sorry. It's just not going to be received. So the whole character thing, it's actions, ladies, because I've been talked to and taught by quite a few men on the truth, just the nature of men. And they will say things to appease us. They will say things to
Mhm,
think they know what we want to hear. They
mhm,
know what we're looking for. So they know what to say. So it's not about what they say, it's their actions.
mhm,
Not that
mhm,
you have to prove yourself to me, but just show me who you are. And
mhm.
you don't even have to wait, because character will reveal itself.
Yeah, I
It'll
like
reveal
that,
itself.
Because one of the things I remember, I don't do it now, but I remember when we lived in Ohio, I loved gladiolas. I was in a phase. And so each week, I remember when Oprah used to say she had fresh flowers. Each week, I would buy myself fresh flowers and put them on the table because, again, I didn't have to wait for him to do it because
Right.
I had my own money to do it too. So many times for women, and as you said, if they can't show you that love all year round, I get to do whatever I want to do, travel. I don't have to wait for Valentine's Day for permission
Right.
or to anything special. So understanding that you are a gift to that person
Yes.
365
Yes.
days and being intentional about being intentional so that you just don't wait till that one day to say, okay, I'm going to do that. Because one of the things why I don't like Valentine's Day is because sometimes it's a way for people to just show off when they're not being kind to you those other days.
I know.
And I'm
I
like, that I have concerns with that, where some woman is willing to accept one day of thoughtfulness and then 364 days
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
just obscurity and
Yeah.
being belittled. I
And
want to change that.
and you can be blinded by that. It's being in any kind of relationship. It could be an abusive relationship, the I'm sorry, the
Mhm.
forgiveness, and you go back to the same pattern. So it
Mhm.
goes back to truly knowing your value, knowing your worth as a woman, loving yourself, and knowing ahead of time what you will tolerate.
Yeah.
Instead of getting into a relationship and things happen, already know what you want, already know your value. And I love that we are the prize, ladies. We
Yeah.
are the gift. We are the gift. There
Mhm.
would be no world without us. We
Yeah.
are the gift. But most of us don't know that, or we don't know the value or the essence of that true meaning of who we are as women. But
Mhm.
that's another topic also. Tabitha, I want you to share with us, we got about 10 more minutes. One of the questions I wanted to ask you is, what are some things that you do for yourself as a single woman to love on yourself?
Yeah, good question. Some things, obviously, COVID has prevented a lot of traveling, but one thing I really enjoy, it's like getting with my other single friends who obviously enjoy being single, which is probably majority of them do enjoy being single, and traveling. Or, I was laughing with one of my girlfriends not too long ago because we stayed on the phone all night, just laughing, talking. Oh my I mean, some of them were like, "Oh, I was, homeboy to talk to me." It's like I had amazing heart belly laughs and good time with my girlfriend. So it's really just looking around and just seeing what I've enjoyed singleness is really loving on the single people in my life, and just being able to try new things. Like, I'm winding up my time here in Boston. So I know on weekends I'll try to go to a new brunch spot. Sometimes my sister will come with me, but it's like there's so many nice eateries here. I'm like, oh, I need to try this one. I need to try this one. Oh, let's go to this restaurant. And so it's like not the women that want to be in a relationship. I want you to think about whatever it is you want to do with that person, and then realize that you can have those wonderful experiences either by yourself or with a friend. And so just really just maximizing your ability to be flexible, your
Mhm.
ability to kind of just go and do and travel. So that's how I love about myself. I just I keep myself busy and I talk to people, but that's really it. Yeah.
So, what would you tell a single woman that doesn't like being alone, Tabitha, that's having a little difficulty attaining the attitude, the mindset that you have?
Yeah, and I honestly, because I have some really close friends who, do desire to be married like right now or in the near future, I really empathize and, empathize. I was talking to my mom the other day about this decision about something that I was trying to get, it didn't come through. And I remember being so disappointed and sad. And remember telling my mom, I said, this is the equivalent to probably how women feel who want to be married right now feel by not being married. So I do have experiences in my life. It's not translated as, marriage, but I do have experiences that are translating with what I believe to be similar disappointment and a little bit of frustration. And so one thing that I've done with that most recent disappointment and frustration, in which I would challenge those single women, is to understand that in order, like we were saying earlier, in order to really be a gift, you have to know that you're a gift. We've said that.
Yes.
But I want you in this time of singleness to do everything in your power to find what are your gifts, what things you love, what things you're passionate about. Just list them every new day. Just say, hey, I think I really love doing this, or I really like this food, or I really enjoy cooking. That's something. If you enjoy cooking, make yourself a nice meal and eat it and say, wow, this is great, right? Because when you're married, I'm hoping for marriage for you because you really want it. When you're married, you'll be able to share in that gifting with somebody. And if they decide that they don't like that little thing, what I think is good because I was eating it and it was good. But I want to make something that you like as well. And so I would just really challenge the women to be very present with themselves.
Yeah.
Find those things. Like so many times you want to look at, I want to be doing this. I want to be doing this. And then by the time it happens, you're going to be trying to go on the reverse and try to do other things. And so find those things that really are important to you. Find some new hobbies. Find some friends who really enjoy singleness. Find some people that do. I mean, it's great to have people who feel similarly to you while you're single, but also find those people who are, whether it be an auntie or a widow or a divorcee or a good friend who you just know, they just enjoy and love life. Gravitate towards them. See what they're doing. See why they got a little pep in their step, right? And take notes, take notes of, wow, this person's so happy and they're by themselves, and I know some women are like, I want to have kids. And that is an understandable kind of feeling like the time clock is going. But something you can do is, be a mentor, pour into kids, volunteer at daycare. There's a way to be around kids. they probably need you a lot. Probably harder now with COVID. But just learning those soft skills of, how to, or hang out with your friends that have kids, learning those soft skills of how do I talk to my kid when I'm frustrated and they just did something bad, and I need to relay to them in a very calm manner. That's not what we're going to do. Put yourself in those situations so you're strengthening and sharpening those skills so that when it's time for, your gift to be transferred or given to somebody, you're going to know it. You're going to say, yes.
Right.
I love what I'm giving to you. I love what I'm giving to you. And I know that person, if you're giving to them and you love what you're giving to them, and it's somebody who cherishes it because you love yourself too much to give yourself to somebody who isn't going to cherish you.
Oh my goodness. That's good. That's good. And in closing, Carla, we have 2 minutes. I want you to give closing remarks and also information on how someone can find you.
Will do. And just to tag along with what Tabitha says about that disappointment, many times one door closes and we're so busy knocking on that door that closed, we don't realize there's another door that's open right around the corner. And so when, quote unquote, the person you love or whatever didn't work out, guys, there's another door. But hey, you guys can follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram and on Facebook at Coach Carla Henry Lewis. You can find me there. I'm currently I love to give people the tools to communicate. So I do a DISC assessment where you find your communication styles, because what is attractive and sexy is being able to communicate to someone in the way they know to be communicated with. And that's what I love when I do my DISC with my clients. So definitely you can find me at Coach Carla Henry Lewis on Instagram and on Facebook. And currently I'm doing a forgiveness class. We're doing a 13-week session. We're in week 5. If you're interested and need to learn how to forgive yourself, forgive others, 2020 has been hard on relationships. It's divorce rates. We've been upset with close people and friends. Learning how to forgive. Those are one of the tools that I think that we should all learn. But definitely love having the conversation with Lavender. And but you can find me on those two platforms on Facebook and Instagram, and would love to connect with you guys.
Wonderful, wonderful. So thank you so much, Tabitha, and thank you, Coach Carla. I appreciate you guys coming on and sharing with the Other Woman magazine. I did post that if you shared the video, that you would have a chance to win a free subscription. So I do see that a few people shared. I will be going back to all of the platforms to see who shared and do a drawing, and I will let you know personally, if you want a free subscription to the Other Woman magazine. Please like Coach Carla Henry Lewis on her Instagram and Facebook page, and like the Other Woman magazine's Facebook page. And thank you again so much. And Valentine's Day is coming up, but love yourself every day. It's just one day out of the year. It's just one day that has been placed on the calendar. Don't let that day. There you go, Carla. I never have been able to do that. Don't let that one day define your year or your month. Remember that you are the gift. You are the prize, ladies. You know your worth, know your truth, know your value, know that you are more than enough, way more than enough than you can ever imagine. So thank you again for tuning in, and we appreciate you guys' time. I'm trying to find my video. That's why I'm still talking. Okay, thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate you. Good night.
Thank you.